Hi there, my name is Tara Fournier. I'm the founder of My Divine Compass, and I am making this video with sadness in my heart because it's something that I'm currently going through, and I know that there are a lot of women, a lot of moms out there who are going through this too. And so this isn't an easy topic to make a video about, but because I am so much about um, really trying to stand in my own truth and speak my truth and be authentic and be vulnerable, I hope that it will help other women to be able to do the same. We really are changing, our world is changing, and um, spiritually speaking, the world is really needing us to come fully open and fully vulnerable. And it's a difficult thing. And I realize that there are reasons behind the difficulty in being vulnerable when it comes to this particular topic. Um, and I think there's a lot of fear and shame around it. And that's why I wanted to do this video today, to express that you do not need to feel guilt or fear or shameful for a decision that you've made. And so, what is this topic? This topic is about separation and divorce as a mom. And so, this is a topic that I am currently experiencing. And a lot of people don't actually know because I haven't full out voiced it. The people in my close circle, obviously family, they know what's happening. And so for some of you listening to this video, you don't even know that this is what's happening. And now you do. But the reason why I wanted to create this video right now is literally because I just left a parent-teacher meeting for my daughter, and after the meeting was over, of course, my daughter was leaving to go be with her dad for the rest of the evening. And typically, he wouldn't have her today because he would be working, but he is having her. And it's very important to me that she has a very strong and solid relationship with her dad as equally as to me. And so that's one of the topics I want to talk about today is how do we navigate life through the separation, through the divorce, as a mom, as a newly single mom, and still maintaining this relationship with our children. And I'm only speaking from my own personal experience. I know that there are many different situations out there, and I do not know how to speak from any other situation except from mine. And so take what I say with a grain of salt. If it fits you, then hold on to it. And if it doesn't, let it go. I'm not here to um, debate different issues. I understand that there are people who respond differently. And so your situation may be very different from mine. But again, I'm just here speaking from my own perspective and hoping that if there's just one little piece of information that I share here on this video today that helps you, then my goodness, thank you, God. So navigating as a mom through separation and divorce is hard with a child. I have one child and she just turned 7. And in having this, I really want to go back and start how the separation came to be. And I'm not going to talk personally about my what actually has taken place and all of that, because that part is personal. But I would like to say that if you are a woman who is really feeling something tugging at you and has been for a long time to make a shift, and your partner is not in agreement or in that path to make that shift with you, really coming from a fully aware, fully conscious place of non judgment and allowing your partner to be in the space that he or she is. Um, there is really a part of letting go, and it's the letting go of the control of how we want things to be in our life, and to really kind of letting go of our partner is, a lot of people might not see it this way, but letting go of our partner is really a chance to honor them and who they are and where they are in their life, um, without judgment. And so divorce is a really taboo topic. And specifically, if you are religious, um, and I am not, I am extremely spiritual, but I am not religious. And I do not shame myself based on the fact that I have chosen the path of divorce with my partner, because a religion would say that God says that that's not what should happen. Because I personally don't believe that. And again, I'm not here to debate the topic. Our paths are different, everyone's paths are different. And I feel, truly feel, that I was given sign after sign after sign that this was what needed to happen. And some of those signs came directly from my partner, not even knowing that. And so I think, as a woman wanting this to happen, what's happening, I feel, is a lot of women are really feeling that pull within, that inner soul nudge, that pull to rise up. And sometimes in rising up, it costs us relationships. And therefore, a lot of women don't rise up because of the shifts that need to change in the outer world and their relationships. And that can be really scary. And so if you are a woman like me who finally decided that it was time to move forward in this path of separation and divorce, let me just say that I'm here for you. I understand, even though our situation is different, I understand the struggle, that the inner struggle that happens when you make this decision. And so, one of the things that was holding me back from making this decision had been this concept of me not wanting my daughter to come from a broken home, because that's what everyone says, right? If you get divorced, then now your child is going to come from a broken home. And there's, oh my gosh, so much guilt and shame and pain that comes with thinking that if you make your decision standing in your own truth, being totally real in your life and doing what is right for you, will then cause your child to come from a broken home. And that is such a hard topic to navigate around. And so in my journaling, I was writing out all of the reasons why I had to stay in my marriage. And one of them was because I did not want my daughter to come from a broken home, and what that would look like for her in her now, in her life, and in her future. And what I realized when I wrote those words and then took a step back and really kind of looked at my journal and read that I was writing that my daughter would come from a broken home, I realized she was already living in a broken home. And oh, that was so extremely powerful, because I realized that I was already causing brokenness by staying. And right then I realized that was the last aha moment that I had before I decided it was time to see a therapist and figure out, is this really the decision that I'm making? And so I share that with you because people don't leave a marriage because it's not broken. And they leave because, well, there's many reasons why people leave marriages, but one partner is done. And I was that partner. I was the partner who was done because I felt like my path and my partner's path, they were not this, they weren't even, they weren't even on the same mountain. And I will not talk bad about him. It's just that I am where I am in my life and he is where he is in his life. And that is absolutely okay. It really is. And so some people would say, and have said to me, you know, you really have to stay and you have to work it out, and you know, you have a child and this is what you do, and you made the commitment in your marriage, in your vows. And although I agree with that, I also wrote out our entire ceremony and I know exactly what was written in that. And we didn't say till death do us part, because I don't see things that way. I truly believe that this human life, this opportunity of human existence that we have been given, is to live life full out. And at the time when my husband and I got married, I knew that I was meant to marry him. I knew that. And it let me rewind for a second. There is a spiritual teacher. Her name is Carolyn Miss, MYSS. And she wrote a book called Sacred Contracts. And there's another book out there by Neil Donald Walsh, and he wrote a book called The Little Soul in the Sun. And they're different, but I'm going to explain what they are talking about. So in The Little Soul in the Sun, it's actually a children's book, but as an adult, every adult needs to read it. And it's basically about these contracts that we make before we come into this lifetime. And in this book, there's a little soul, and he's talking to God, and they're talking about what he is here when he comes into human form, what his life lesson will be. And he chooses, the little soul chooses forgiveness will be his lesson that he learns in this lifetime. And so he goes over to another little soul who's his friend, and he says, when we get down to earth, will you please teach me the lesson of forgiveness? And his friend says, well, I don't want to do that. And the little soul says, yes, please. That's my lesson that I've picked. I want you to be the one to teach me what forgiveness means. And the other soul says, if I'm the one who is to teach you what forgiveness means, then that means I'm going to have to do something to you that would require you to forgive me. And then the little soul says, oh, yeah, I see. Okay, but yes, I really do want you to do that. And so I'm going to end that part and then switch over to Carolyn Miss, and how in her book, Sacred Contracts, she talks about how We make these sacred contracts as a soul before coming into this human life with other souls. And so we come into this life and we are here to learn the lessons that we're here to learn. And I can honestly say that my husband, who I am now separated from, has been one of my biggest spiritual teachers because, and I am so grateful for our relationship and for every single thing that has happened in our marriage. Whether we perceive it as good or bad, I'm 100% grateful to him because he taught me more about myself. He taught me about myself because our relationship gave me the opportunity for me to be able to do that. And so as a mom, navigating through separation and divorce, I want to encourage you to see your partner or ex-partner as someone who helped you realize who you are, helped you realize what you want and what you don't want in this lifetime. If we can find gratitude for our partner in that, minus all of the things that we may want to complain about, if we can find gratitude for our partner, just in the fact that in that marriage, we learned so much about ourselves, what we're willing to put up with, what we're not willing to tolerate. We've learned so much about ourselves. We have to be able to find gratitude for our partner in that. And then this control thing, I know as a mom, I am in control. Let's face it, I know that there are plenty of dads out there who got it going on when it comes down to knowing schedules and knowing homework and knowing grades and all of that. I am not saying that no dad does that because I know that there are dads out there. But I am a type A personality and my partner is not. And so naturally I take I'm the one steering the boat. And that goes for my daughter. And so when our child is away from us, there is this feeling of not being in control of their safety, not being in control of making sure that all of their needs are met, because that is what we do as moms. It's innate in us. And when our child is not in our home doing that on that night or for that week or whatever your situation may be, we find ourselves lost because when we became a mother, we went through this entire process of change, of becoming another woman. And now we've been living as that woman with our child. And when our child is not with us, we have a hard time handling ourselves. And I wanted to share some ideas of what you can do when your child or children are gone from you that will help ease the pain and the loss of them not being there for that night or that weekend or again that week, whatever your situation is. And so it's really an opportunity for us to get back into touch with who we are as moms. We lose out on focusing on what our needs are because we are so focused on our children's needs. And allow the time when your children are away from you to be the time that you nurture yourself. So we are so focused on nurturing the needs of our children while they're in front of us, while they're here, even the behind the scenes kind of work that I say. So when your children are away from you, nurture yourself. We're so programmed as moms to be nurturing. So take that time to nurture you. You yourself have an inner child within you. And that inner child, most of the time, is not acknowledged, is not recognized, is crying inside, and we're not even conscious to that. So when your children are gone, allow this to be a time that you nurture your inner child. And so what does your inner child want to do? There's another book that I recommend. Susan, I didn't expect to bring this book up. I can't think of her last name right now, but the book title is Taming the Outer Child. And she talks about how we have an outer child and we have an inner child, and then there's us. So we're really, each individual person is this triangle. We have our adult self, our outer child, and our inner child. And so I really want to encourage you to get in touch with your inner child. So my inner child likes to have dance parties at the house all of the time, and I do that with my daughter, and I do it without my daughter because that's something I love to do. Music heals me, so I dance and I sing and I act a fool in my own house while my daughter's away, but I also do it with her. So when I'm doing it alone, it also makes me feel like she's there with me. Journaling, I've mentioned journaling. So journaling your feelings. Journaling your feelings is really one of the most important things you can do for yourself. It allows you to vent, to get out everything that's weighing down on your chest. And the more often you journal, the more you will realize that your higher self is coming through and you are speaking to yourself on what the right things are to do, what the right next steps are. And so journal. I journal almost every single day. And on the days that I don't journal, when I go back and then journal, it's like I'm catching my girlfriend up with what happened. Okay, 2 days ago, this happened and this is what I felt and whatever. And then yesterday, this happened. And then now here we are today. So I catch myself up. So I'm talking just as if I'm talking to my dearest best friend. And as I'm writing, my dearest best friend, me, gives me advice. And that advice comes out on pen and paper. And then I go, okay, yep, that's right. I know that I'm not sugarcoating anything, and I'm also just free flowing this information out because I journal so much. So journal and get into the habit of doing that. Self-care is so important, as I mentioned. And so another thing that I do is meditate. I try and meditate almost every day. Again, not every day, but I do meditate. And there's a wonderful app that you can get called Insight Timer. And they have guided meditations. They have regular music. They have talks. They actually have courses on there now. And they have just regular timed meditation. And so where it's just kind of like this background music sound. And you can say, I'm going to meditate for 30 minutes and close your eyes once you start it. And then it'll ding when it's been 30 minutes. I really encourage you to get into Insight Timer. On that note, there are podcasts like crazy out there. So find what your interests are and listen to podcasts. So I'm really excited to announce that just yesterday morning, I was interviewed on a podcast called Radiant Mom. and it's going to be available in a couple days. And so because I'm now aware of Radiant Mom podcast, I've been listening to it the past few days, and listened to another one today. And there was a woman on there talking about listening to your inner truth. And so that was something in the title, was about listening to your inner truth. So if you look up Radiant Mom, you'll hear her. And she really was, she was saying all these things that I know, and at the same time, she was encouraging me and empowering me to, oh yeah, I need to be in my truth. I need to be real. I need to be authentic. I can be vulnerable. And in doing all of those things, I understand that I might not resonate with everyone, but I will resonate with some. And the some are the ones that I want to connect with. And so listening to that podcast is honestly what has inspired me to do this video on this topic that I wasn't sure I was ready to share and talk about. But again, I realized I have so many people, so many women around me who are divorced, who are recently divorced, who are going through the divorce, who are separated, and who are wanting to get out. It is, it's very overwhelming. Overwhelming in the sense that, wow, why are all of these women that I know in this space of wanting to let go? And in fact, I had one woman say to me when I had mentioned that I was separated, and she said, wow, I'm going through that, and every woman in this building is going through that right now. And it makes me really sad, she said. It makes me really sad. And my immediate thought in response to that was, or we're all just women who are waking up and rising up into what we know our souls are here to experience. And so maybe that's you. And again, I know that there are things that I may say that aren't resonating with you. And that's okay. It really is okay, because there are women that it is resonating with. And I want to let those women that this is resonating with, that you are not alone in this. There's no reason to feel shame or guilt for making this decision to separate from your partner. I know that the contract that my partner and I made in this marriage, and on a spiritual, soulful level, I know that this contract has been fulfilled. We have both gotten out what we needed at a soul level in this marriage. And we've fulfilled the contract, and now it is time to move on. And if that doesn't resonate with you, or if you're thinking, I don't know how I feel about that, just sit on it, just journal, just talk it over with your friends, talk it over with yourself, and see if and how that makes you feel if you begin to see it in that light. If you are wanting a divorce, then you are already living in a broken home, and your children are already in that broken home. And so we don't get divorced and then have a broken home. The brokenness has already happened, which is why the separation and the divorce happens. And if both partners aren't equally willing to give it 100%, then it comes down to choice. And that's what I was facing, was I have to make this decision that I am not going to complain about my marriage anymore. I'm not going to complain about my partner. I either accept my marriage as it is right now and has been, and knowing that it is this way, and I choose that in my life, or I do not choose that in my life. It really comes down to asking yourself that question. And I continued to choose it for a while. And then I made a different choice. And my choice was, I can fully accept that this is the way that my partner is. And I'm not putting it on him, saying that I don't want to make it sound like he wasn't willing to change or any of that. What I want to say is that our marriage was what it was. And I had to make the decision if that was okay to continue living in that or not. And I chose not. And I am not going to shame myself in that. I'm not going to feel guilty, regardless if other people want to try and shame me or make me feel guilty or put up some religious reason to it. I am choosing to be a strong woman in my own decisions, knowing that I am a grown up and I can make the appropriate decisions. And if I truly feel I am in true alignment with my mind, body, spirit, God, higher self, universe, if I am in true alignment with all of that in making this decision, and this decision is in the highest and best good for me, then it's automatically in the highest and best good for my partner and for my daughter. If I am truly making this decision from my soul, then it is also in the best interest, this decision, for my partner and for my daughter. And so I want to leave you with just understanding where you are right now. I'm going through it right now, so you're not alone. There are many, many, many people going through this right now. And you will get through it. And you have a support system. And if you don't, then you need to create one for yourself. You need to latch arms with women, friends, family, get on Meetup, get into groups, find hobbies, find out what you like. And in doing all of the things that are true to you, you will find healing through this. You are not broken. It's just a situation that two people have chosen not to fix. And you can look back in your life, and you can stay in this marriage and look back in your life and find gratitude that I had some women tell me that I was going to grow old by myself by getting divorced, and she doesn't want that for herself. And I was like, that's okay that you don't want that for yourself, but if that's my path, then okay, I guess that I'm walking that. I know what's right for me. No one knows what's right for me. And so I want to leave you with, no one knows what's right for you. No one, only you. And if you are moving through life listening to your heart, listening to your soul, and truly feeling that inner guidance supporting you, then you are not making the wrong decision. And so I hope this video helps you just a little bit. I hope it gives you a little peace of mind to your situation and what you're dealing with. Please know that your children, trust that your children are protected when they're not in your sight, because as moms, we can be so overprotective, which is okay, but also know that your partner cares for your children too. And so they're going to keep them safe and everything is okay. Trust, trust, trust. My biggest words here, trust. Thank you so much for watching. And if you want to reach out and talk privately with me, please feel free to do so. I hope I can offer some more encouragement to you if you feel like that's something that you need. All right. Take care of yourself. Self care. Remember self care. All right. Take care of yourself. Bye bye.